All right, ladies and gentlemen, Viz has officially updated, so it's time to check out the newest chapter of One Punch Man. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. Welcome back to One Punch Man. In the last chapter, we had Suika going up against Machine God Mirror at the Heroes Association, and her delivering a potentially decisive, we don't know, a potentially decisive blow towards Machine God Mirror in her drunken state, using a speeding subway train as a way of driving Machine God Mirror straight towards her, and using a platform as basically as a foothold to just have him at rapid speed literally run directly into her fist. And what we see in the last panel of 228 is her essentially breaking his face. Now, whether this is the blow that subdues him, we don't know. But good to see you, Henry Whitebeard. The One Punch! The One Punch is real! I'm not going to make that joke anymore. But I hope every single one of you is having a wonderful day. Let's get started. Hold on. Everything, yeah, everything is good. Punch 229, Assistance. And we have a lovely art of Suika right here on the front. Man, Murata really knows how to draw some good-looking characters. And we cut to the Heroes Association, and Saitama arrives. But the entire front gate is completely blocked by countless security bots. Huh? Huh? And then Saitama's looking over and he hears a sound and he immediately takes off and starts running. And all of the heroes who got like bad hero names and were literally protesting outside, they're running going like, "Where'd Saitama go? Dude's insanely fast." And we get Suika once again in the middle of her punch of Machine God Mirror, punching him so hard that Machine God is literally being forced out, because beforehand, when Machine God grabbed onto the subway in order to take down Suika, he literally put his hands inside of his extra long arms inside of the subway in the hopes of unleashing these explosive orbs directly underneath her feet in the hopes of defeating her. But in this instance here, Suika is punching him so hard and so forceful, he is literally losing his grip on holding on to the subway and just being forcibly driven back. And his body is just in this position, being punched, and his whole body's being dragged, dragged across the top of the subway to the point where one of the connectors that connects, one of the subway lines up top, it smashes into his back while he's still being punched by Suika. So the force of her punch is literally, it's literally Suika's Omni-Man moment from the first season, where Omni-Man was holding up Mark, and well, those of us who've seen that scene know the rest. She's essentially doing that, but holding the Machine God's face in place while he gets hit by everything on this subway. Outside of it, not the inside, because there's people inside. And then Machine God continuously is being held. He keeps being held in place. These 2 pages are just 4 panels, and it's just Suika standing there holding Machine God in place with just her fist alone, as all of the supports of the subway continuously hit him in the back more and more and more and more until it starts building up literally in the tunnel. And then, after all said and done, when the last car of the subway passes under, then she punches him away. Suika, she's crazy. This is actually, and one thing I love about the art of One Punch Man is that when you get high grade panels like this, there's so much detail. There's so much detail, but only after every single piece of the subway's upper half, and I don't know the exact name for subway, I'll look it up later. After the subway leaves, then she proceeds to punch him off of the platform. And both Suika and not Saitama, but both Suika and Machine God fall to the ground, and Machine God is just buried in metal. And Suika is hacking and coughing, and she's clearly tired after this whole ordeal. And Machine God immediately gets up. Immediately gets up. And while it's standing there, its head fixes itself. Never mind. Never mind my statement of, like, is this a decisive blow? Not even close. He literally just reforms and regenerates. His whole head cracked. The cracks are gone. His head is as if she never touched him at all. And then it speaks. Damage rate 0.00001%. You are a pitiful fighter, yet you scratched me.
Its arm is too hard.
That thing's still kicking, so fire away!
And mind you, Spermatozoon and Pochi are just watching this fight, because they did lend Suika a hand, but that's only because they wanted to defend their literal home. But when Spermatozoon goes,
so fire away! Huh?
And something comes flying in above them. And it's the Butterfly Hero and the Frog Hero. Battletoad? Battletoad? I forget their names. Seriously, I forget their names. But they come flying in. Machine God looks up, and they come flying in the glare of the sun. And they go screaming, yo-hoo! Consecutive weighted chains! And there's multiple chains that hit the ground next to Machine God. Well, Machine God dodges out of the way before the chains can actually hit him. And then the chains start dragging, and they loop around the guardrail next to the subway. And they both Butterfly Dude and Battletoad use this momentum to swing underneath the bridge, narrowly avoiding the ground, because remember, this dude's upper torso is bare except for the butterfly wings on his back, and he's flying up in the air. And then Machine God knows who they are. That's Class A Hero Butterfly DX and Class A Hero Chain Toad. Thank you for reminding me what their names are. But Butterfly DX and Chain Toad. I knew it was something Toad, not Battletoad, but Chain Toad. But DX and Chain Toad land in front of Machine God. Now here's the thing though. I don't know if they're gonna survive the fight. I don't know if they're gonna survive. Wing Breath Butterfly Scale Blast! And all of a sudden, DX flaps his wings, and the whole area is just enveloped in this explosive dust that basically engulfs Machine God. Hey, girl, you're new, right? At times like this, you gotta contact the Hero Association for assistance. They'll dispatch nearby heroes on the double.
Oh, thanks.
And it shows that Machine God is completely unscathed, and he just goes, more weaklings. And that's the end of the chapter. That's the end. Ooh. So, I feel like the biggest standout moment for this entire chapter is just the sheer force of will and resolve of Suika literally punching Machine God in the face and then forcing him to just tank and suffer blow after blow of the supports of the subway, constantly hitting him in the back and then punching him away. But it literally doesn't leave a lasting impression because dude literally gets up not even a second after he's just laying there on the ground. And then the very dent that, because Suika managed to damage him to the point where she cracked his face and dented in the side of his head. And then that just completely reforms. As if Suika didn't do anything to him. And mind you, Suika is incredibly tired after doing that. And Spermatozoon wants Pochi to lend a hand here, but we get Chain Toad and Butterfly DX flying in. That's interesting. Yo, Holster, good to see you. Let's see, she's cracked, let's go. Thank you for making the MHA reading videos. Of course. I loved reading through My Hero Academia. If you're still here, Henry. I didn't see your comment until just now because I forgot to grab my phone and have chat right here so I can see what you guys are saying. My sincerest apologies. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. This thing is bulky defense build. Is a bulky defense build I see? Yeah, yeah. But it also has the power of a glass cannon. Survive, I like their chances. Get heavily damaged and have a lot of injuries after this. I like their chances of that too. That 0.00000001 damage rate comment was mad disrespectful, can't lie. It is. It is incredibly disrespectful. It's like, oh, you managed to hit me, crack my skull, crack my head casing, bend it, dent it in, and then you have the entire supports of the upper half of an entire subway line hit me in my back, and then you punch me away, and then I suffer even more damage. You only did 0.000001% damage to me from that. That's like saying, oh, it's literally saying all that for a drop of blood. Literally. But here's the thing, though. Saitama's coming. New chapter translation should drop soon. If it ain't official, I ain't reading it. I don't read early scans. Never do. But Saitama's coming. He hearing all this sound, he's hearing all this noise, and he's coming. And if there's anyone who can go past that 0.00000001% damage rate, it's Saitama. It's like, huh? I'm hearing noises. How come we can't go in the front gate? What's going on here? Oh, there's a monster. Okay, let's go over that direction then. It's just like literally him. Literally him. So I will say this though. I commend Suika for going out as much as she did. Even making herself drunk to draw out even more of her strength. And it shows, and this is nothing to scoff at for when it comes to Suika. She's incredibly capable. Had this been any other monster, she would have been. This is what the scouter said when they said that she's young, but she has incredible potential. She's A rank, but she has incredible potential to become even stronger later on. And this is during her very first showcase of her strength for her to get a ranking when she first arrived at the Heroes Association. Here, we see that she's incredibly capable. However, there does appear to be some drawbacks because after all of that, she's left breathing heavily and tired, bleeding from the head because of the damage she suffered before. So she still has a ways to go. But we can clearly see that she has that potential that those agents literally talked about not too long ago. Saitama about to do a lot of damage. Can't wait to see the damage rate percentage to be over 100% when Saitama does an actual attack. It's what's crazy. What's crazy is that, let's see, I have this thing at my public library that is a summer program where kids through adults can read or listen to books to earn prizes, and I've been watching our MHA reading videos, and it's amazing. Oh, nice. Awesome. Hey, I feel good about that. That's cool. That's incredibly cool. You know what? When I done with, and real quick, just a side tangent before we get back to the chapter. When I started doing manga reactions, I did not think, well, I didn't have the thought in mind that it could have an impact on people. And seeing it still do that, even after I'm done reading My Hero Academia after all these years, it is just incredible, and I am nothing but humble and grateful that I've, if I've entertained at least one person, then I've done my job. So I'm just grateful, and I'm humbled by your words. Thank you. If there was any of the monsters the other S-class heroes were fighting in the cities, I think it's safe to say she'd be able to beat them with moderate or maybe high difficulty. True. Machine Gun Mirror, though, is a very interesting monster indeed, due to the fact that after all the damage it suffered, it only suffered 0.000001% damage just from everything Suika did. Just 1%. And I say this again. It's mad, and you said it first. It's mad disrespectful to say that what you did to me that looked like it did an inconsiderable amount of damage because I was hyping up this punch in the last chapter. The last time we read this was literally earlier on in May, like the 13th of May, and it's been a while since then. I was hyping up this punch thinking like, ooh, this punch is incredible. Ooh, this detail's incredible. Oh, this is incredible. That is incredible. But now we get here, and dude says, you barely left a scratch on me. It did so much nothing to me that I can literally just pop the ding out, literally like a car, and just buff it out. Think she did more, but he did regenerate and didn't count it as damage. Here's the thing though. While she did some damage, I do not think she did anything lasting. Because when you think about it, the ability to regenerate yourself is an overpowered ability in all forms of media. And if it's high-speed regeneration, it is definitely OP. So even if Suika did a ton more damage to him being able to regenerate from it does give the impression that it didn't do anything at all. So he's literally just saying like, interesting. You only did like this certain amount of damage. I regenerated. And it was basically nothing. You're weak. Like, let me go back to this chapter. Damage rate 0.000001%. You are a pitiful fighter, yet you scratched me. He does acknowledge that she scratched him. He does acknowledge that some form of harm actually came to him. Just saying that despite all of that, it wasn't enough to keep him down. Really hope we see how far this regeneration of this monster goes. Like, if Saitama throws a regular punch and nearly destroys it with that punch, will it be able to regenerate quickly? If it does, the last time we seen... Before I leave, I want to ask if you can make a Death Note reading series. I don't know. I have a list of manga that people would like for me to read on the channel, but there's some other things I want to take care of first before I start adding more manga to the channel first. But when it comes to Saitama fighting people who can regenerate, he hasn't fought many people who could do that. I feel like the last time he fought someone who could fully regenerate at high speeds was Boros. That was the last time we actually saw someone who could have high speed regeneration that Saitama fought. And he basically still one-shot him with a serious punch. That was enough to break his regeneration completely, shattered his core, literally left the open space of cloudless skies across the world just from the serious punch. And even then, that probably wasn't even the strongest punch he had. So fighting Machine God Mirror could be another interesting example of someone who can regenerate, but probably does not have the ability to withstand the full force of Saitama's punches. It's like... I was about to say something about My Hero Academia, but Henry says that they're listening to my read-through for it, so I am going to withhold that information because I don't want to potentially spoil anything. He can turn anyone into red mist. Boros regen was god tier. So here's the thing. Unless, and I'm piggybacking off of what you just said, unless Machine God Mirror's regeneration and ability to sustain himself is on the same level as Boros, which I highly doubt, dude's not lasting at all against Saitama. If your because I don't think there's no one else in this entire series whose regeneration has been on the level of Boros. Dude literally had his body like you just said, turned into mist and then reformed back around his core. We haven't seen anyone who could regenerate at that speed or to that degree. Literally reconstitute yourself after having your literal body exploded from a punch? Well, consecutive normal punches. But you understand what I mean. No one's regeneration has reached the level of Boros yet. So unless Machine God Mirror's level of, self-repair is on the level of Boros, he's not surviving. If the character doesn't regenerate, oh wait, I forgot about Zombie Man. Thank you, Kelvex. Thank you. If the character doesn't regenerate like Zombie Man, he's not regenerating after that. Not to mention, this is powered up Saitama compared to Season 1. Yes, because Season 1 Saitama really wasn't putting Empty Void was close. That's another one as well. Before the story got redrawn and the whole interaction with Empty Void literally cutting into dimensions was just cut out completely. I'm still flabbergasted by that. We spent so much time with the fight of Saitama and Blast versus Empty Void, and then it gets redrawn, and that whole story just gets sidelined completely. I'm like, bro, really? Really? We go on break, and then you come back and redo everything I just read through for the past 2 months? Why would you do this to me? But unless Machine God Mirrors, and now this is going to be the last time I say it, unless his regeneration is on the same level as Boros, he's not surviving Saitama. And Saitama is on the way. Suika can't fight right now. She's down on the ground, incredibly tired looking. Saitama's on his way. The other poorly named heroes are chasing after him, but they can't keep up because Saitama is fast. So Saitama's coming. He on the way. And the moment he sees someone trying to mess up his house, because, Saitama, he's a hero, but he kind of takes down people for just very, very basic reasons. Oh, you're here. Oh, well, let me go ahead and punch this guy.
Why? Why are you coming to help me?
That's my house. I don't want him destroying it. Like just basic stuff. It's not like, I've come here to save the people of this entire association, for that is what a hero does. No, Saitama doesn't do that. He's all like, he's like, I gotta go beat this guy because I literally just bought the food in my apartment and he's aiming at my apartment and we don't have another sale at the grocery store. So I'm gonna have to wait another week in order to get my food. So that's literally Saitama. So he's probably gonna show up and be all like, nice fight. And then just take out Machine God Mirror. Because when Saitama gets involved in these fights, somebody's losing. And it's never Saitama. So, from this, I can imagine that, and here's the thing, I'm not overlooking Butterfly DX and Chain Toad. Sure, they're a nice little distraction. They're a nice little distraction with the consecutive weighted chains and, being what you would call an annoyance. You ever played a video game, you're overpowered, and let's say you're playing Skyrim. You got like full-on Dragon Bone or Daedric armor. It's enchanted so that you regenerate faster than any damage that can be done to you. Your sword does all of the elemental damage, and it can suck the soul out of the people you hit with it. And you are at the top of your level, so your health is in the 4 digits, your magic's in the 4 digits, your stamina's in the 4 digits, and then a random thief comes up to you saying like, hand over all your valuables. Hand over a Khajiit, specifically a Khajiit thief comes up to you and says, hand over all your valuables, or I'll gut you like a fish. And you're just looking at him like, bro, do you not see the gear I have on? Did you not hear the tales of me defeating Alduin? And then you just one-shot him, and then you steal his stuff. This is essentially what Chain Toad and Butterfly DX are to Machine God Mirror in this instance. Sure, they have a nice little heroic moment dropping in, but in terms of them doing anything on the level of Suika at this time, it remains debatable. Because last time I checked, Chain Toad got horrifically messed up by Garo, and this is before Garo was fully scouted by the Monsters Association many arcs ago. It feels disrespectful to call God a person. Entity is probably a better, also, I think the only person who's going to have the same, if not greater regeneration than Boros is literally God himself. Call God a person. God itself. God itself. Let's see. Saitama saving Suryu's sister after Suryu himself will be nice. Whole family will look up to him. Yeah, I will laugh if they land an attack on Machine God Mirror and it literally says 0 or percentage that was in the negative. That would be hilarious. It wouldn't even surprise me if that is the damage rating Machine God says after he gets engulfed by this, what is this called? Wing breath butterfly scale blast. That's a mouthful. You might want to shorten that up. That's really a big attack. Wing breath butterfly scale blast. Where did he get his naming attack from? Where did he get his ability to name attacks from? The fourth Hokage. Remember when the fourth Hokage says like, let me just charge up. I call this Rasengan attack the super awesome hyper mega force ultra Rasengan. I'm like, that's way too long. Way too long. Too long. Just say butterfly scale blast. There you go. But then again, it's kind of on brand for these heroes who are way over their heads. But I would not be surprised if Machine God says more weaklings. That did negative 15 million % damage. It's gonna be hilarious if he says if the attack damage done to him is literally in the negative. It's like, I barely even felt that at all. Were you breathing on me? Were you breathing on me? But overall, nice chapter. And some of these panels, which pages? Pages 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. All of these panels were very well done. Not too much talking, just straight action. Just straight action. Buildup of metal on Machine God until it gets to the point where she just punches him away in 8 and 9. Those are very well drawn panels. Very well drawn. I will always compliment how good the art is for One Punch Man in terms of like architectural design and also when people are fighting in earnest and there's a lot of characters with a lot of detail on them. Because I brought this up the last time, but it's very well done. I love the art of One Punch Man. But overall, good chapter. Let's see, Machine God Mirror, please keep attacking me. Your attacks are so pitiful, they're actually making me stronger. All right, overall, good chapter. And that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if this is your first time here, and you're wondering why I don't show the images as to what I'm reading, it is simply for copyright reasons, and I would not like to get in trouble with Shonen. Literally Shonen Jump. I literally don't want to get in trouble with them by showing images. So if you're able to find these chapters that I read from, then you can just have my voice narrate along with you. But other than that, this is just how I do things. If this is you being here for the very first time and wondering if I do this for any other series I do on the channel. But overall, good chapter. Looking forward to the next one, which I would not be surprised if we don't get it to near the end of June. Because One Punch Man tends to go on big breaks. We either get just one chapter this month or we get another one, but it's literally either the week before the last week of this month or it's the last week of this month. I do not expect another one next week. But after this one, I am very excited to see if Saitama can get to Machine God before Chain Toad and Butterfly DX suffer too much damage. But we'll have to see. Overall, good chapter. So to everyone here, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my membership or Patreon because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!